There is a version of you that never entered a body, never learned a name, and it is quietly watching you breathe right now. Your nervous system has been trained to believe you end at your skin, yet your true identity is already woven into galaxies you will never see with your eyes. Every heartbeat you feel is actually an echo from a non-local field, calling you to remember that you were never born and you will never die. The thoughts you mistake as yours are like radio stations of the cosmos, and the moment you notice this, your entire sense of self begins to flicker. There is a secret space behind your breath where time bends, karmic stories dissolve, and the real you waits in patient stillness. When you close your eyes, the body seems to disappear, but something remains alert, luminous, and infinite. Who is that if not your true identity? Your suffering is the friction between who you pretend to be in time and who you actually are beyond space. Right now, your cells are listening to your beliefs about who you think you are, and the quantum field is rearranging itself to obey them. The person you defend, protect, and fear losing is only a costume of neurons and memories, yet the one wearing the costume cannot be touched. There is a moment, perhaps it will be this moment, where your identity steps out of the river of time and remembers it was always the ocean. You are listening from inside a mystery that has been pretending to be ordinary. Beneath your name, beneath your history, beneath all the stories you repeat about who you are, there is a silence that has never changed, and it is listening with you now. Let your breath fall gently into the body, not as an effort, but as a returning. Notice, without forcing, the subtle way your chest rises and falls, the faint stretch between your ribs, the almost secret expansion behind your sternum, as if something in you is slowly remembering its original rhythm. Stay with this moment. There is more to this breath than oxygen and muscles. In the quantum field, breath is not only a biological process, it is a messenger of non-local intelligence, a bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the consciousness that is boundless and the temporary body that carries your name. As the air moves in, allow the possibility that the one who is aware of breathing is not contained by the body at all. You have believed that you are inside your body, but what if the body is inside your awareness, like a wave appearing inside the ocean of your own consciousness? Do not answer this with the mind that seeks conclusions. Let this question linger, like a note of music that continues to vibrate in the room long after the instrument is still. Something is beginning to awaken. Feel the quiet tremble around your heart, the almost imperceptible tingling along your spine, the gentle weight of your body resting where it is. This is not random sensation. This is your nervous system learning a new story about who you are. For years you have rehearsed a very specific script. I am this body, this personality, these memories, these wounds, this age, this role. Your neurons have sculpted their pathways around these statements. Your heart rhythm has adapted to them. Your muscles have learned to contract in the same familiar places whenever those stories are threatened. But the quantum field is not impressed by your narratives. It obeys something deeper: vibration, frequency, coherence. Your true identity exists as a pattern of pure awareness, beyond your biography, beyond your fears, beyond the calendar and the clock. If you listen closely now without trying to fix anything, you may sense a very subtle space opening behind your thoughts, as though your mind were a sky and every thought were just drifting weather. The sky does not become the clouds, you do not become the stories. You are the presence in which they appear and disappear. Stay with this moment. We have not reached the most important part yet. Place a gentle attention in the center of your chest, where you might place your hand when you say I. Feel the warmth there, even if it is faint. You might notice a quiet throbbing, a pulse, an aliveness that doesn't need your permission to continue. This is your heart, but it is also more than your heart. From the viewpoint of spiritual neuroscience, the heart is an electromagnetic broadcasting station, radiating a field of information many times stronger than the brain. When the heart and brain become coherent, when your emotions and your thoughts begin to vibrate in harmony, the nervous system reorganizes, stress responses soften, inflammation decreases, and your perception of reality itself begins to shift. In those rare and sacred moments, when you feel a profound peace for no reason, when you sense a quiet joy humming in your cells, your heart-brain system has tasted coherence. In those moments, time seems to slow. You are not haunted by yesterday or chased by tomorrow. You simply are. Who is this I that simply is? Not the one grasping at identity, not the one defending, comparing, proving that one belongs to time. We are speaking of the one that witnesses time passing without aging. Right now, as you listen, notice that the awareness that heard your first memory in childhood is the same awareness hearing these words now. The body has changed, the personality has evolved, the beliefs have shifted, but the awareness, the pure noticing, has not aged at all. This is your first clue that your true identity exists beyond time. Your cells exist in time, your roles exist in time, your relationships unfold in time. But the witness of all of this is timeless. The witness is non-local mind. It is not trapped behind your eyes. If you close your eyes for a moment, you will see that the world of form disappears, but something remains. There is still an interior space, a vastness, a subtle presence that is aware of the darkness behind your eyelids. That presence is not in space. Space arises within it. This is not poetry alone. It is direct experience available now. Stay with this moment. You are walking toward a threshold. Feel the base of your spine resting on the surface beneath you, or the weight of your feet pressing gently into the ground if you are standing. Sense the length of your spine from the base upward, like a luminous column connecting earth and sky. Along this column, ancient traditions spoke of energy centers, vortices, where the quantum field steps down into the nervous system, where subtle intelligence meets flesh and blood. Whether you think of them as chakras or as neural hubs, feel them now as zones of aliveness. At the base, stability, safety, belonging. In the pelvis and abdomen, creativity, desire, emotional tides. In the solar plexus, will, power, direction. In the heart, love, grief, compassion, forgiveness. In the throat, expression, truth, the urge to be heard. Between the brows, insight, intuition, inner vision. At the crown, vastness, the open sky, the field of all possibilities. As you notice each region, you are not just imagining energy, you are signaling your nervous system to reorganize its attention, to rewire its habitual patterns. This is neuroplasticity guided by consciousness itself. Every time you bring gentle, non-judging awareness to a part of your body, you are inviting new neural pathways to grow, like roots seeking water. Your true identity, beyond space and time, uses this body as a temporary instrument, tuning it, refining it, learning through it. The more you become aware of the instrument, the clearer the music of your real self can be heard. There is more to this. For most of your life, you have confused the instrument for the musician. When the body is praised, you feel worthy. When the body is criticized or ages, you feel diminished. When your role in the world is successful, you feel real. When that role is threatened or lost, you feel as if you are disappearing. But the one who feels all of this, the one who notices the rise and fall of worthiness, is never actually at risk. That one is not in the story, it is watching the story. And yet this watcher is not cold or distant. It is made of the same vibrational tenderness that gives birth to stars, the same luminous intelligence that organizes galaxies, that whispers through quantum fluctuations, that coordinates billions of cellular events in your body every second without ever asking your permission. This is consciousness as a creative force. Your true identity is this force, wearing a human experience for a brief moment. When you believe you are only the character in the story, life feels heavy, compressed, anxious. You live inside a tight loop of memory and prediction. The past haunts your muscles, the future clenches your jaw. Your breath becomes shallow, your chest constricts, your abdomen tightens. This is the physiology of separation. But when you begin, even slightly, to sense that you are the vast awareness in which the character appears, something profound happens in your neurobiology. The amygdala, the brain's alarm center, starts to quiet. The prefrontal cortex, associated with insight and compassion, becomes more active. Heart rate variability improves, indicating greater resilience in your nervous system. You start to feel space where there was only tightness, choice where there was only reaction. This is not just spiritual poetry, it is spiritual neuroscience. You are reprogramming your nervous system to remember your timeless nature. Stay with this moment. We are approaching the point where the illusion of who you thought you were will begin to tremble. Notice now the subtle tension patterns in your body that have been there for years, maybe decades. The familiar tightness in your throat when you fear not being understood. The weight on your shoulders when you feel responsible for everyone's expectations. The hollow sensation in your abdomen when you worry about not being enough. These are not random. They are muscle memories of an identity trapped in time, of a self that believes it is separate, fragile, isolated in a dangerous universe. This old self was built from inherited beliefs, cultural conditioning, childhood impressions, and unresolved emotion. It deserves your compassion, but it does not define your true being. As you feel these tensions now, do not analyze them. Simply allow your breath to touch them from the inside. With each exhale, let the muscles soften by 1%, no more. 1% is enough to begin. Something is beginning to awaken. The vibrational patterns in your fascia, the connective tissue that wraps every organ and muscle, are slowly changing. Where there was contraction, there is the possibility of flow. Where there was numbness, there is the possibility of sensation. And sensation is the doorway to presence. The more present you become in your own body, the more clearly you can feel that you are not limited to it. This is the paradox that frees you. The deeper you descend into embodied awareness, the more honestly you feel your heartbeat, your breath, your subtle trembling, the more you begin to sense that who you are is not confined by these sensations. You are the luminous space in which they occur. This realization is not a thought. It is a shift in vibration, a rearranging of how your nervous system interprets reality. Your old identity will resist this. It will say, if I am not this person, this role, this storyline, then who am I? And in that question, fear may arise. The fear of dissolving, the fear of groundlessness, the fear of losing control. Stay with this moment. Do not flee back into distraction, into busyness, into familiar suffering. We have not reached the most important part yet. Right here, as the old self feels threatened, a critical choice appears. You can tighten and grasp even more tightly to the costume of identity, or you can soften and allow the costume to loosen, even just slightly. Let the breath show you the way. Inhale gently, feeling the coolness at the nostrils, the widening in the ribs. Exhale as if you are exhaling an outdated story, one that never truly fit. With each breath, the seams of the character you've been playing begin to unravel. You may notice flashes of memory, moments when you decided who you needed to be in order to be loved, to be safe, to be seen. Perhaps a scolding voice from childhood. Perhaps a silent household where emotions were not welcomed. Perhaps a culture that taught you to measure your worth by productivity, appearance, status. These impressions were so strong that they etched themselves into your neural circuits, shaping the identity you carry to this day. In this moment, as you witness them without judgment, something radical is happening. You are observing the program from outside the program. This is the observer effect in your own consciousness. What you observe with awareness begins to change. By bringing conscious, compassionate attention to these memories and body tensions, you are altering their vibrational signature. The quantum field responds to this new coherence. The particles that make up your body, the fields that weave through your cells, the photons of light that dance within your neural pathways, all of them are listening to the new frequency you are emitting. Curiosity instead of judgment, presence instead of avoidance, love instead of fear. And so the old self begins to crack. This is the collapse phase. Identity as you knew it starts to dissolve. The ambitions that once felt so urgent may begin to feel oddly hollow. The roles you clung to, victim, savior, outsider, achiever, may feel like garments one size too small. Relationships may shift as you no longer vibrate at the frequency of old dramas. Some people may sense this and feel threatened because your liberation challenges their attachment to who they believe you should be. At first, this can feel like chaos. You may feel ungrounded, as if the ground beneath your feet is crumbling. You may ask, if I release who I thought I was, what is left of me? Stay with this moment. This tremble is not your end, it is your opening. Your true identity has been gently, stubbornly trying to awaken you for years, through moments of inexplicable peace, through synchronicities, through the quiet yearning you feel when your life looks full on the outside but empty on the inside. Now, as the structures of the old self begin to fall, the doorway is widening. In the brain, neural networks that defined your habitual self are losing their dominance. New connections are forming, linking regions associated with self-awareness, compassion, and insight. The heart's electromagnetic field is becoming more coherent, sending rhythmic signals of safety and openness to every organ, every cell. Your entire being is recalibrating to a new identity, one that is not made of time, but of presence. Something is beginning to awaken. Take your attention now to the space just above your head, as if your awareness could float a few inches above the crown. Sense, not with your eyes, but with your inner sensitivity, a field of quiet light there. This is not an object, it is a quality of presence. The more you rest in it, the more you may feel that you are not rising out of your body, but that your sense of me is widening, softening at the edges. From this expanded awareness, look gently at the character of your life, your name, your roles, your fears, your dreams. See them as a constellation of experiences, appearing within you, not defining you. Your true identity exists beyond space and time, but it does not reject space and time. It plays within them. It plays as your relationships, as your work, as your joys and losses. It learns, grows, and evolves through every heartbeat and every thought. Yet, like an actor on a stage who never forgets they are not the role, your deeper self remains free. Freedom is not the absence of form. It is the remembrance that you are more than any form. This remembrance has profound consequences for your life. When you know you are not confined to the body, you take better care of the body, not worse, because you see it as a sacred vehicle. When you know you are not bound to one storyline, you become less rigid, more creative, more forgiving. When you know you are not limited by your past, you stop predicting your future from old wounds. You step into the quantum field of infinite possibilities, where new experiences can arise that are not logical extensions of your history. Your nervous system evolves to support this. Neuroplasticity allows you to release patterns of chronic stress and adopt patterns of openness and trust. The heart learns to stay soft even when life is uncertain. The abdomen relaxes, allowing intuition to flow upward like a quiet river. The throat uncovers its authentic voice, speaking from truth instead of fear. Your entire body becomes a coherent instrument for the consciousness that is beyond birth and death. Stay with this moment. We have not reached the most important part yet. The most important part is not understanding these ideas, it is embodying them. Right now, feel how your body holds the words beyond space and time. Notice any resistance, any confusion, any subtle skepticism. Do not argue with it. Simply feel where it shows up. Perhaps a slight narrowing in the mind, a tightening in the jaw, a heaviness in the chest. These are simply areas of you. Our nervous system still loyal to the old reality. Offer them breath, offer them patience, offer them the possibility that they do not have to protect you in the same way anymore. Your true identity is not an idea to be believed, it is a state to be recognized. To recognize it, notice the one who is aware of all of this right now. The one aware of thinking, of doubting, of hoping, of sensing. This awareness is not inside your head. The sensation of inside your head is itself appearing in awareness. This awareness is not located in time. The experience of time passing happens inside it. You cannot see this awareness as an object, but you cannot deny that it is present. It is here unmistakably as the open space in which these words, these sensations, these thoughts arise. This awareness is you. Not you, the character, not you, the personality, but you as pure consciousness. From here, peace is not something you chase. It is the natural fragrance of your being. The quantum field is not something out there. It is the dynamic, vibrating aspect of your own awareness expressing itself as energy and matter. Your life becomes less about trying to fix a broken self and more about allowing an infinite self to explore, to love, to create. Something is beginning to awaken. In this awakening, there is a rebirth. The old self, with its tight edges and fearful predictions, does not need to be destroyed. It simply ceases to be the center. Its stories may still appear, its habits may still echo, but they no longer dictate the script. You notice them, thank them, and return to the spacious presence that has always been here. From this presence, you begin to live differently. You respond instead of react. You listen more deeply both to others and to the quiet impulses arising from your own heart. You feel guided from within, not pushed from behind by fear. The nervous system, once tuned to survival, begins to tune to coherence, to creativity, to connection. This is vibrational alignment. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are increasingly resonant with the truth of who you are beyond space and time. You may still experience pain, loss, and challenge. Being beyond time does not remove you from the human experience. But suffering changes its texture. It becomes less of a prison and more of a refinement, less of a punishment and more of an invitation to deepen your presence. Each difficulty becomes a portal back to your true identity. When the chest tightens, you remember to breathe into it as awareness, not as a trapped person. When the mind spirals, you remember the sky-like quality of consciousness, and the thoughts lose some of their power. When fear arises, you feel it in the abdomen and let it move, shaking, trembling, releasing, while you remain as the unmoved witness. Little by little, coherence stabilizes. The heart and brain synchronize more often. Your sleep becomes more restorative, your immune system more responsive, your energy more steady. You feel a quiet joy that does not depend on external circumstances. This is the life of someone who knows, not as a concept, but as a lived reality, that the true identity exists beyond space and time. Stay with this moment. There is still more. Now, as you rest in this growing clarity, notice the world around you, or the memory of it if your eyes are closed, the sounds, the textures, the colors, the people in your life. See them as ripples in the same consciousness you have been exploring within. Each person is a different lens through which the same infinite awareness looks at itself. Each encounter is the universe meeting itself in a new configuration. From this vantage point, compassion is not a virtue you try to practice. It is the natural recognition that there is only one being here, playing all the parts. Your relationships shift again, not because you force them to, but because you no longer need to extract your identity from them. You show up more fully, more honestly, because you are not afraid of being rejected. Rejection can touch the character, but not the consciousness living through the character. Loss can break the heart open, but it cannot harm the awareness that holds that brokenness. This gives you a new kind of courage, not the courage to dominate, but the courage to remain open. Open in the face of uncertainty, open in the face of intimacy, open in the face of your own depths. As you live this way, your very presence becomes a frequency. Without preaching, without convincing, you transmit a subtle message to everyone you meet. You are not just who you think you are. There is something vast and timeless watching through your eyes. Your nervous system in coherence invites their nervous system to soften. Your breath, unhurried, invites their breath to deepen. Your eyes, unguarded, invite their hearts to feel a little safer. This is how the quantum field of collective consciousness evolves, one coherent being at a time. You are that being now, or rather you are remembering that you have always been that being. There is one final movement. Let everything you have heard sink down, not into your mind, but into the quiet center of your chest. Let the words fade until only the vibration remains, a sense of spaciousness, of presence, of unhurried being. No need to hold on to any concept, no need to define yourself. Right now you are simply here, breathing, sensing, knowing. Notice the stillness underneath all movement, the silence underneath all sound, the vastness underneath all forms. Rest as that. This is your true identity. It does not begin with your birth, and it does not end with your death. It is not limited by your age, your body, your history, or your future. It is the open, luminous space in which space itself appears. It is the eternal now in which time flows. From here live, from here think, from here feel, from here create, from here love without holding back. From here allow your human life to be a moving prayer, a temporary yet exquisite gesture of the infinite. And whenever you forget, whenever you fall back into the tightness of the small self, remember this. Something in you has already stepped out of the river of time and recognized itself as the ocean. That something can never be lost. Stay with this moment even after these words end. Your true identity is already awake, quietly shining behind your eyes.